Hey photographer, Jessica Whitaker here, and I teach photography to beginners here on YouTube. In this video, I'm going to be going over my gear favorites of this past year, 2022, and what's on my wish list for 2023. Here's a little hint. KEH.com, who is kindly sponsoring this photography video. KEH is where you can buy, sell, trade in, and repair your used camera equipment, both film and digital, which is what I also have in my gear favorites for this past year. When you buy used on KEH.com, you are able to save hundreds of dollars on gently used gear. In this holiday season, there is no hassle when it comes to purchasing used. Whether you're shopping for someone you love or getting a gift for yourself, purchasing pre-owned cameras and gear from KEH means you're getting something handled with care. Unlike if you were to purchase on a third-party auction site or a social media marketplace, you really don't know the exact condition of what you're buying or even if it's legit. On KEH, you're able to shop with confidence, knowing that your equipment has been thoroughly cleaned, teched, and graded. They offer a 180-day warranty as well as a generous 21-day refund policy. They also offer additional production protection through Extend. Give the photographer in your life a gift that they will never forget. You can check out KEH down in the description box below. I also have a 5% off coupon when you shop and a 5% bonus if you choose to sell any of your current gear. Let's get right into it. Let's kick it off with my 2022 gear favorite so that we have a bit of context for what's on my wish list for the new year. I currently shoot with a 5D Mark IV from Canon. The lens that I found myself reaching for the most this past year is my 50mm 1.2 from Canon. In years past, I would probably say that my Sigma 35mm art lens is my favorite, but my lens has actually broken down. There is a lens though that I am wanting in replacement of the 35, and we'll talk about that in the wish list portion. The other two items that are my 2022 gear favorites are two film cameras. Number one is this little guy. This is a Contax T3. It's a point and shoot camera that I bought back in October 2019, and this past summer I rediscovered my love for the point and shoot. This point and shoot is over $1,000, and it's also quite hard to get your hands on because it's in high demand. You don't have to go for a $1,000 point and shoot. It's a bit ridiculous. You could opt for a $30 one, a $100 one. There's tons of options on KEH, but what makes the point and shoot itself so fun is that I like using it for more of like sentimental photos. I have another Contax here. So this is a Contax G2. This is my all-time favorite 35mm camera. I got it at the same time and place when I got my T3 camera. This camera is so smooth. The focus nails it every time, even if you're in trickier lighting situation. It's 100% worth the price tag. But if you are looking to get into film photography in the new year, I wouldn't recommend this to you. I think that you should start with something like a Minolta X370 or Canon AE1. Don't worry, I'll have both of those linked down below for you. Those are cheaper options and they will help you get comfortable with all of the manual settings because you can do a little cheat with the Contax G2. You can set it to auto and it will nail it almost every time, which also is really fun when you just want to shoot with film, something a step up from a point and shoot. You want a little bit more control and quality with the images, but you don't want to have to set up the shot every single time. You can just have a bit more fun with it. Now let's get into my 2023 wish list, the Canon 24-70 2.8 lens. This is a fan favorite, at least in my photography Facebook group, Build and Bloom. To a lot of photographers, the 24-70 is like their equivalent to my 50 1.2 in the way that it is glued to their camera body. My thinking with adding this zoom lens in particular to my wish list is that it could act as 2-in-1 for me. So like I mentioned, my 35mm broke and I don't have any intention on replacing it, at least with the Sigma Art. I use the 24 Sigma Art all the time and I love that prime lens. However, I wouldn't recommend a 24mm prime lens to most people, at least those starting out, because I don't think it's as good of bang for your buck. I believe using the 24-70 zoom lens, for me, I'm going to be very happy with it. I like that it goes down to 2.8 and it's gonna save more room in my camera bag. The next lens we have is very frivolous, but it is something that I've seen over the years and it's been on on my secret wish list. It is a fisheye lens. This is an 8 to 15 millimeter 4.0 fisheye lens, and I have seen so many photographers, especially in my Facebook group, using this lens and creating gorgeous art with it. I love a wide angle. I mean, I use my 24 all the time on photo shoots, and I know that I could create some really stellar images with this guy, but the reason why I consider it frivolous for me right now is because I have two other lenses on my wish list I need to prioritize before purchasing this. The next lens is something that I have used a ton this past year, and I have kindly been able to borrow it for videos, tutorials with KEH, and I just need to get it for myself for my own collection. It's an 85 1.2. You can get it for under $1,000 on KEH, and this takes the most gorgeous portraits. My most recent lens review was actually on this little guy here. So if you're curious about the technical specs and how I would be actually using this lens in my business, I'll have that video linked up on the iCard. That's my wish list: the fisheye lens, the zoom, and an 85 prime. All things considered, my setup is pretty simple. I don't think that you have to have tons and tons of lenses to have a successful photography business and to create beautiful images. The 50 millimeter is amazing. I'm definitely going to be getting the 85 in the new year. And for those starting out, I think a 50 millimeter, a 35, or a zoom is going to do the job for you. As consumers, it's really important to remember that all of the latest and greatest that we see in this new lens and this new system, that's all marketing, and you do not need it for a successful business. Now, there is a time to upgrade your camera gear and add to it, like I want and need to add an 85 to my permanent kit. And I have a video talking all about that, but it's really important to be a conscious consumer and to get deals where you can. Which brings me back to KEH. When you opt to buy used, you're not only saving hundreds of dollars, but it's also so much better for the planet. I mentioned my Facebook group a lot in this video, and you can join it by searching Build and Bloom on Facebook groups. It is a kind, encouraging, and inclusive photography community where you can ask questions related to gear purchases, or if you want another set of eyes on your website that you're revamping for the new year. Check it out on Facebook groups. It's Build and Bloom and totally free to join. Be sure to hit subscribe so you're the first to know when new free tutorials for your photography business come out. I will see you over in my next photography video. Click right here to watch and to learn. See you there.